Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Coffee, Tea, You and Me with Coach Powell and Friends. Today's topic is so super special. And for those of you who may have noticed earlier on, I just added today's new topic to our new logo and everything we're going to be working with for the next few weeks. We're going to be talking about all the latest and greatest innovations that are needed for committee leaders and committee participants of all types, whether you're a nonprofit or for-profit organization. We're going to be teaching and training and developing all the new techniques, all the new strategies, everything that you need to know to build vibrant committees, whether you're going to do it face to face in person, or you're going to do it in some kind of hybrid format within your organizations. And that doesn't matter what organization we're talking about, whether it's going to be a community organization or fraternal organization, or even the workplace that you work in and you're working on small teams and small committees. You need to know how to take advantage of all the brand new and exciting efforts that are out there to create these tremendous benefits for belonging and participating in these committees. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So get loaded up with your pencils and your pens ready to get involved and get connected with some of these beautiful and wonderful ideas that I have done some serious research and development on pulling together for you all. In fact, I am constructing a brand new training outline and program that's available right now for those of you who found the original links to this material. You'll be able to go back and look at a free download that I have available for you all to kind of walk through as we grow and walk through this new process and these new products that we're going to talk about. Okay, so before we get into the topic today, I got to do a better job of thanking people and the people that really make this possible for everyone. So let me do what I need to do to thank, first of all, my fraternity brothers at Phi Beta Sigma, who literally inspired this new training idea, this new training concept, have embraced all that we do with their Bigger and Better Business Committee for our organization, and in terms of small business economic development and helping small businesses in the local Northern Virginia area grow, get recognized, be more prominent, and develop their strategies and techniques. The program is all about that, helping entrepreneurs in business and leadership kind of grow, as well as helping those who are needing to increase their financial literacy, their financial acumen, and get involved with programs programs and processes that help them really learn how to take advantage of all the economic opportunities that are there for them, either in the workplace, outside of the workplace, in their personal lives, and in their organizations and in the world we live in. Having said that, I have other sponsors, great corporations and organizations that are owned and developed by most of my clients. And I have to say, one of the premier clients that I have, or that I'm really excited about, is Darren Shoemate of Shoemate Engineering, Adolphus Towns, and some of my other clients are all responsible for allowing me the opportunity to embrace the small business community in a major way every single Friday from 3 to 5. So I love them, and I love for you to get involved. Ask me about them. If you have questions about how do you get involved with education, training, technology, engineering, I have clients in all those spaces that can use the benefit of your wisdom, can use your help and aid and assistance, or any questions that they can answer for you, vice versa. You can also grow from. Having said all of that, this show and every show that we do is very, very business friendly. I want you all, whoever you are, wherever you're watching from, whether you're watching online, live right now on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or even Facebook, link, YouTube. Yeah, that's the other one. If you are watching on live, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're coming from. Let us know where you're watching from. Also, if there's a program or process that you want to offer to people, that you just want some extra, push in terms of advertising and promotion, go ahead and put that information in the chat. Put the links to anything and everything you want us to pay attention to in the chat. This is a business-friendly environment. I want as much engagement as possible. If you have thoughts or ideas and attaboys or whatever you want to put in, questions, whatever you want to put into the chat and engage with other people, please do so. Please take advantage of all the tools and opportunities that we have here to connect, to grow your connections, to get involved. If you want to join me on LinkedIn and you haven't already, please do so. Let me know that you found me here at Coffee Tea, You and Me, and I will be more than happy to connect with you. Now, I have to let you know about my LinkedIn connections. They're not all of people that I personally know. And so therefore I have to scrub those connections. Every year I go through and I ask myself the question, have you been relevant? Have you been a participant in the communities that I have engaged in? Do I see you posting information and ideas that are relevant? Do I hear you responding? Thumbs ups and hand claps and all that kind of stuff are great. But if you have a real thoughtful opinion and idea, that matters most to the network, the idea, to the people that we're putting together. So if you are out there, I see you, Sean. Thank you so very much for coming in today and for participating with us. Your energy is important. Again, if you have a contact information or anything you want to share with people, go right ahead and share that information. This is the time to do that and make sure that you don't keep your light under the bushel. You know what I'm saying? You gotta shine. And so in order to shine, people need to see you. I see you're coming in from LinkedIn, which is great. We have a lot of people watching from YouTube, from Facebook, and other places. So thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much for jumping on board today. You can tell us again what you do and anything you want to share. Please do. That way people we can increase the engagement and increase the participation. Okay, today's topic. We are starting off a whole brand new series on all things small teams and committees need to know, whether they're volunteer or paid, or you belong to a board and you're chairing a committee of that board, or any groups that you need to. Please don't keep this a secret. If you know somebody who needs help, we have developed the definitive training program that can help, especially in today's world. New people take advantage of the new technologies, hybrid spaces, and working with teams across the world, really, even small teams across the world, super well and super collaboratively. This is also a great training opportunity for anyone who wants to be a part of a thriving, active committee in terms of sharing their expertise and their talent in really doing it in a way that's positive and uplifting and helps the communities or churches or nonprofit organizations, really function at the level that they're really supposed to function. And what I mean by that is everything in every organization literally gets done at the committee level. It's strong, tightly knit committees that have the greatest benefit and the greatest reward and the greatest contribution to every organization, even no matter how massive the organization becomes or how much the impact of the organization becomes. It all boils down to very, very good, well-run, tightly woven committees that pull it all together. Again, it could be volunteer, it could be for profit. It doesn't matter how you establish these small, exciting, energetic teams. But today, I want to share with you, just today, we're going to talk about the benefits that can be received when small, tight committees are done well. When it's all done well, the benefits to the individuals involved and the communities at large can receive all of these as 8 powerful benefits that we're going to talk to today. But before we get into those benefits, if you've ever participated in any committees, in your profession, in your volunteer life, in your or spiritual development or ministries that you've participated in, if you've participated in any small committees and you have some benefits that you can think of that you can identify with, go ahead and put that information in the chat. We'd like to, honor you and the rewards that you've received as a member or participant in those small committees. So put that information in the chat. Allow us to, share some love and give you some kudos and attaboys and all that kind of stuff by engaging in that way. It really, really, really is important that you communicate that if you can. All right. So let's talk about some of the exciting things that you can expect to benefit from when you belong, when you participate, when you engage in small community efforts via committees. And we're going to get right to some of the major points. I'm going to reduce myself here so that you can see the background here, that little background logo. If you notice something about that logo that's out there, you can see that this is the typical committee that's getting together vis-a-vis the internet. And the diversity that you can have throughout age or ethnicity or even religious backgrounds on a committee can be so powerful. And you can engage in so many different ways with so many different people. Why not take advantage of all the talent and expertise out there that you can gather? So if you're a committee leader, obviously the first thing we're going to talk about is making sure that you have the best possible people on your committee. And what I mean by the best, I mean people who have some experience. They want to grow that experience in the space or whatever that is, not just in overall what the committee does, but in the sub roles that the committees play. And you're going to hear a lot about that. So if you've looked at the intro to this particular new training development we're offering, I want you to know our goal is completely this. What we want to do is spark collaboration. We want to help you create and fuel fresh new ideas so you can build vibrant, action-driven committees that transform your communities and organizations that you belong to everywhere. We don't want to limit this to just this group or that group, although this work was inspired by my fraternity, I have to say. It's wonderful and it will work well everywhere. Vince Lombardi said once, individual commitment to a group effort, that's what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, a civilization work. Yes, you are an individual, and we want to celebrate the individual, but we want that individual to belong to a community, to a team, to a group that is going to be effective, because that's what makes everything work better. That's what makes everything thrive. And I don't know about you, I'm not into just achieving anymore. I'm not into just um, getting to a place of where I can say I'm productive or and I'm achieving and I'm getting awards and all these different things that, I'm getting all the material things that I want. I'm living for more than that in my life right now. I'm living for thriving and fulfillment and to create legacy where people can thrive and be fulfilled as well. So who should participate in today's training and the training throughout the rest of the weeks that we're dealing with? Well, anybody who is spearheading a small team or commission or wants to spearhead a small team or commission, anybody who wants to participate in a small team, a board, or any small group organizations, volunteer on committees or whatever they want to do, you want to participate in this. And here's why. Because what we're going to show you how to do what to do in terms of creating and engaging and then delivering on these particular benefits. There's 8 clear benefits that the participants should learn to share and to engage in and to expect, right? Number 1, there should be a benefit of fresh perspective and innovative solutions. Number 2, there should be a focus level of expertise and professional contribution. Number 3, there should be checks and balances for fair governance. Number 4, there should be ownership, engagement, and community pride that is distributed throughout the activities and the communities that are developed through strong committee membership. And then uh, number 5, there should be diverse perspectives and better decision making. Number 6 should be transparency and trust building. Number 7, stronger bonds and social cohesion. And number 8, increased participation and inclusive engagement. How do we get to all of those benefits? How do we make sure that we are not only just belonging to vibrant and active committees, but sharing the work and the results of those active committees? Let's go through and talk about number 1, fresh perspectives and innovative solutions. What do we mean by that? When you are a part of and participating in a strong, engaged developmental community when it comes to committees, you're going to feel and see the injection of new ideas, right? This kind of group is going to challenge entrenched routines, and they're going to help leaders uncover creative approaches to persistent challenges. So why is this important? When this is done well, there's going to be stronger operations, more dynamic problem solving, and this is going to affect all areas of the community or the organization that's receiving the benefits of this committee. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of being a part of several committees, both for-profit and nonprofit. And I can tell you that year after year, even when the strongest committees do the same work in the same way, they eventually bump into what we call the law of diminishing returns. Because if you want to systematize, you do want to systematize things, and you do want to have SOPs, and you do want to have, consistent leadership and all those types of things. However, we don't want to have those things be a detriment to innovation and creativity, right? We want those things to add to why innovation and creativity exist and thrives within the committee. Because remember that all technology exists to serve people and the mission of the organization as a whole. If it doesn't serve people, if your new strategy, your new systems, your new tools, your new directives don't serve people as well as the mission of the organization as a whole, then it's ineffective. So you should be able to almost guarantee that the members of the committee, as a leader, you should be able to guarantee that they're participating in new innovative solutions and fresh perspectives, and they're welcoming new innovative solutions and fresh perspectives. If not, then you're going to suffer from burnout a lot faster. You're going to suffer from people getting disillusioned about what the committee is and their contribution to the committee. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. The second benefit to belonging and participating and engaging and leading, these kinds of committees is they take advantage of a focused expertise and professional contribution. So what do we mean by that? There should be a clear avenue for members of the committee to grow their specialized skills. If they have specialized skills, for example, in finance or marketing or event planning or technology of some type or communication or whatever their specialized skill is, HR, development, you should, as a committee leader, figure out, first of all, what that special talent or gift might be for each person, and then figure out how you can use this committee and this committee opportunity to help grow that area of expertise. Because you don't want to just participate in a committee on a community or a committee just to have the sake of participating in a committee. You want to do meaningful work. You want to do things that are relevant, significant, and that are actually going to be useful to your own personal and even professional growth. So to the extent that you can work on projects and high quality projects and use your particular expertise in that project, not necessarily the whole entire project, but just your piece, right? You can have high impact in that work and make sure that that work not only benefits others, but also benefits you from getting some real world experience. Let's think about it. When you think about it, shouldn't the work that you do in committees be meaningful, relevant, and significant in some way? Why shouldn't you develop and strengthen your professional skills, even as you serve others? Why should your contribution be valued? Why shouldn't, I should say, your contribution be valued at the most appropriate level possible? And committees can do a lot to elevate your your experiences and your talents and your gifts, whatever those talents and gifts are. But they have to be focused on as a sub-purpose of the entire community or committee to elevate the membership, elevate the people that are involved in the committee in a meaningful, positive way. It doesn't do any good for a committee leader to, report out to the larger organization or team or chapter or whatever that is and not do a good job of elevating the members of the committee that participated and engaged and did meaningful work and gave meaningful contributions to the effort. Number 3, checks and balances for fair governance. This is super, super important. And it may not seem to be, and I know a lot of us participate in organizations and have participated in organizations that are largely broken for a lot of different reasons. And we don't have an example or whatever about how this works. But let me tell you, give me a sneaky peek in a viewpoint of what happens when people get it right. Committees get to independently review certain aspects of the organizations, and they get to make recommendations and offer oversight, even as they serve their essential function, whatever it is. And this becomes an essential check on executive decision making. So when the board decides to do blah, 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 and they shift it down to now the committee to do the work on it, the committee gets to give active, real-time feedback into the mechanism of sort of where the board may make executive decisions that come down through legislative or changes to constitutional amendments and different things like that within the organization's documented policies and processes, right? They may make the changes at that level, but who does the work? It's the committees that do the work that generate whether or not this was a good idea, how well it's working, if it's working at all, what needs to be done to tighten up the language of clarity or whatever that is in the governing documents that kind of brought the new understanding or the new way of being or developing into community focus, right? So those checks and balances are very, very important, and the committee gets to be the structure that fosters responsible budgeting, transparent policy enforcement, and equitable outcomes for all of the stakeholders. I'm always leery of participating in committees or small teams that don't have adequate reporting structures and don't clearly show how their work aligns with the overall strategic mission of the organization. Because it's only right to have people, especially volunteers, working on committees that will focus on consistent reporting of their actions and decisions. It's fair to them, it's right to them, and it creates an opportunity for them to relatively shine in terms of the work that they're doing. If you don't have that, then people get buried underneath the pressure of high expectations, but not really able to deliver on those high expectations in a way that matters. The next aspect of in terms of benefits that could be offered. You can expect when the committee's really working and working well in all aspects, you're going to expect a high level of ownership, a high level of engagement, and a high level of community pride. And these terms mean different things to different people, but for the sense of this argument, I want you to understand that a deeper sense of ownership over local initiatives is empowering to everyone that's involved in a great team, a great committee, right? This is going to fuel pride and long-term commitment. You want people to feel like they belong to something that is important, something that is valuable. If that's the case, then they're going to engage in the programs that are out there. You're going to have much more successful fundraisers. You're going to have events that are vibrant and fulfilling to others. And you're going to see that people, as they become more personally invested in the community and the organization's well-being, really turn the corner to that level, what we call thriving, right? It's not just going to be good, it's going to be great, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be engaging, it's going to be active and growing. You want to see members actively engaged and participating at every level of the group, the team, the chapter, whatever it is you have. You want to prepare them to take on higher and higher roles within the organizations at large. And it's great to see people move from, they're working with a local level group of organization. It could be a union or a fraternal organization or a community service organization or even a church. You want to see them working well at the local level, but then you want to see them grow into now that they've done so well in the community level, at the committee level, the smaller groups. You want to see them now grow into regional, national exposure, maybe sometimes even international exposure, depending on the type of organization that they're working within. Because when that happens, that growth is palpable. Everybody feels that. Everybody goes, oh, I remember when so-and-so was just a participant in this committee, and now look at them, they're the regional director, or they're the national level of leadership. And it's so much more pride that goes into belonging to chapters or groups or small teams that have elevated members to higher and higher roles within the organization that everybody loves, right? So super important to try to offer those opportunities and be respectful of those opportunities within the committee work that they do. You're going to see that happen. If you stick around with any group or team long enough, you're going to see people grow because they learned at the committee level how to do something, or how to really elevate something in the roles that they were able to do. They can turn that into their professional lives or back into the organization. It's all growth and development. The fifth thing that occurs, or fifth benefit, I should say, that occurs within groups, high-level committees that are working well, is they benefit from diverse perspectives and better decisions. Now, diversity gets a short shrift in many organizations in many places because people feel like it's much easier to work with people who think the same, believe the same, come from the same background and privilege or whatever that is. And that's very, very important to recognize that committees should be composed of members and active participants in the organization from various ages and background. You want the richest tapestry of viewpoints that you can get to come to the table. Again, you don't have to accept everybody's ideas and run with everybody's ideas, um, but to listen and to allow those voices to be seen, those voices to be heard, and those perspectives to be seen. Right? It's super important because what it does is enhances the deliberations in of any discussion, and it leads to a well balanced, well informed decision that more accurately reflects the actual needs of the community's aspirations, right? So, if you have a diverse organization, so to speak, and you're only speaking to one segment of the organization, you're only allowing one segment of the organization to engage and participate in the greatest work of the organization, then you're doing a disservice to the entire organization because, other members are not benefiting from the entire organization. And so that is very, very important that, you get that diversity going in making sure that everybody has some say so and everybody has some work that could be done. When all of your committee members think and act the same way, because they have such similar backgrounds, education, and experience, it's really hard to unify behind. It's like I say differently. It's actually really easy to unify behind a rationalized, really bad decision because you all pretty much agree and think about things the same way. And so organizations suffer inordinately when they don't welcome and respect diversity and all that it offers. They accept and rise to the challenges of communications when that's working for the greater good of others, and they seek to get better and better as years pass instead of going backwards and trying to make the organization great again. They're looking forward to making the organization greater and greater in the future instead of, reclaiming a past level of greatness, right? Because the past is the past, it's gone, and you can't get it back. You just can't. There's no way to go backwards in time and recapture the same moments with the same people and blah blah blah. That's just an old stodgy organization that can't grow anymore. The sixth level, we might not get through everything today. We might have to go to next week. But the sixth level of benefit that should happen is clear transparency and trust building. Right? When you involved volunteers early in the planning, the oversight, and the execution of any committee work that's being done, you demystify organizational processes and build trust between leaders and the broader membership. Now, again, I've seen committees try to select the people that they like and they trust and they've always worked with in the past, and they try to keep those same people on the committees as long as they possibly can because they think it's working. Why change it, right? But if you don't get new people involved, if you don't orient them well in terms of not just what the committee does, but what they specifically can do to enhance the planning, the oversight, and the execution of the committee, they're not going to feel like they belong. They're not going to feel like, this is a useful or meaningful use of their time. But when you do this well, all of a sudden what happens is misunderstanding, misaligned expectations start to disappear. Right? You won't have a lot of misunderstandings. You don't have a lot of people who want this but can't figure out how to get to it. Right? You're going to foster a culture of accountability. Much better. It's important to bring people in early to the decision-making processes. Right? There's much less confusion, much less stress, especially when there's imminent change that must be made, right? There's nothing worse than delivering to a committee that's formed and been formed and formed to, and then going, well, you know what? You guys got less budget than you had last year or the year before, just because, things are happening at the macro level of the organization, and you're going to have to, now we're going to expect this committee to do more with less, right? And then they're not involved with the planning and organization. You're just there to execute the wishes of the board of directors or the executives that are in charge, right? So you don't want to be victims at, at a committee level, right? You want to make sure that the committee is involved with the planning and oversight enough for them to feel like they're part of the decision making. And maybe you can prevent some very bad decisions from being made in the first place, right? There's going to be fewer pushbacks and more buy-in to newer ideas and innovation when you do it like that. When you involve as many people as you possibly can in the early planning and early oversight and execution, then you're going to have a lot less problems when it's all said and done. I'm going to take a break here before we get into number 7 and 8 and ask some questions. Does any of this information resonate with you guys so far? If so, give me a thumbs up or a yes or in the chat or whatever that is. And if not, help me understand why. It's very important. Like we're a very feedback rich organization, and I try to make sure that I am accepting feedback in all spaces. And I don't mind whether that feedback is public or private. If you need to, or you feel like you need to contact me, um, personally, my information is scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. You should be able to see it. How you do that? If you feel like you can give it to me publicly, fine, give it to me publicly. I want to know, is this interesting or challenging to you, right now or moving forward. And again, if you're watching this, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this in review later on demand, still participate, still engage, still answer the questions, still ask questions that are out there for you, because I want you, again, to grow. And you can't grow without active engagement is the best way. You can still grow passively, but the more you engage, the more you're going to learn, the more you're going to get that. I want to give a shout out to Sean, while he's still here. He is tremendously powerful and exceptionally brilliant at helping small businesses set up their solo 401k retirement accounts, eliminate debt, and access double-digit alternative wealth assets. If you want to get in contact with him, feel free to look him up here. Here's his contact information that he wanted to share. And that's a great way for you to get in contact with him and to further any efforts or ideas that you may have for your organization using his talent and his expertise. For those of you who haven't volunteered your information, put it in the chat. You see what I do. You see how we make things happen for people. So make sure, and we'd like to promote as many small business leaders as we possibly can. So again, put your information in the chat. Let's get back to it. Okay, so number 7, that's where we left off before. Number 7, in terms of working on strong committees that are really vibrant and really accessible, right? What's going to happen quite naturally when you're working on side by side with people, whether it's virtually in committees or in person in committees, you're going to start to establish meaningful relationships amongst the participants that you're working with. And the better your leaders are in helping you understand how and when you enter, the better they are at orienting you and to the team and to others in terms of expecting what you can bring to the table and what you collaborate with. The better your events are going to show up, the better your projects are going to work. They're literally going to transform and help you transform what might be just casual acquaintances into friends. Some of the best friends I have right now, I have met through the work that we've done in various small groups and teams and committees, right? So it's very important. The social fabric of the entire community is responsive to the work that you get to do. Let's face it, don't we all do better when we enjoy the people that we work with? It's much easier to take an interest in others when we are working on meaningful projects that we care about. So let's be on our best social behavior and bring our A game to those that we get to share time with. Don't show up to the committee, with more questions than you have responses to the work that you get to do. I like to always share with my team members that those you take an interest in are more likely to take an interest in you. Again, those that you take an active interest in are more likely to take that same active interest in you, but you have to be willing to give it before you receive it, right? Good committees make space for real socialization to occur, real collaboration, real inclusiveness, real engagement. When you're on a good committee, that's what happens. When you're in a bad committee, there's no space for you to even talk or even breathe because, it's just the work is either too heavy or the expectations of the leadership are so um, focused on the work that they don't remember, they don't actively understand that people are doing the work. And people, even though they're doing the work, need to have that social outlet and that connection with one another, the opportunity to bond. If they don't have that opportunity to bond, then there's not going to be really good additives to what we call trust later on. The last benefit that you can expect to have from your engagement and participation in wonderfully won, wonderfully built and developed committees are increased participation and inclusive engagement. That goes without saying that committees provide accessible entry points for everyone who is a member of an organization to get involved, right? And even those that are unable to serve in full-time active leadership roles can serve in the committee work, because committee work is usually project work. We're going to work on this project from this time to that time. We're going to finish that project, whether that's an event, a program of some type of thing. And people are, are going to love offering um, the variety of roles and responsibilities. And because committees literally empower more individuals to contribute their time and talents, and ensures that every voice can be heard and every heartbeat can be felt. Super, super, super important stuff. Now, next week, we're going to get into some major stories of three different individuals, Ann, Tom, and Emily, and how they, each in their own right, have participating in brilliantly growing committees, and how those opportunities kind of worked out for them. And then we're going to get into some core functional ideas of how hybrid committees should work and some models. And we're going to use some industry specific techniques and concepts. And I'm going to try to do the best I can to make sure you understand, but make sure that, again, if I say anything that's over your head that you don't understand, feel free to ask the question. I love that. Don't let, anything get in the way of your understanding. And usually what gets in the way of your understanding is your refusal to ask the question as it comes up. So feel free to do that in the chat. Feel free to do that. Call me, text me, or join me on my website. Whatever you want to do that creates that opportunity for you. We want to make sure we're there for you and responsive to you. Okay, guys, it's about 43 minutes in. I think that's a good enough time level. We should call it a quits for today. Again, if you have any questions or any comments, if you're looking for a great coach, look no further. You found one that's committed to small businesses and committed to helping entrepreneurs and promoting the idea of entrepreneurship and small business ownership, to make sure that you and your teams have everything they need to thrive. So if you know somebody who's in business, doctors, lawyers, financial advisors, mortgage producers, real estate professionals, anybody who's a professional service provider could use this experience, feel free to share with them. Feel free to share me with them. I'd love to meet new people. I love to engage with new people. And as I'm building a stronger and stronger network, what literally happens is people that I engage with, they get the advantage of participating and actively enjoying that network. And so when you need, expertise to come to the rescue for fundraising or training or development or, legal, whatever it is that you need for your business, I got people lined up ready to serve and ready to get involved and ready to get engaged, some for free, some for profit. So you have to, really, really be good at belonging to the communities that we create. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I know I'm planning to have a wonderful weekend. This is like one of the rare weekends during the summer where my wife and I don't have a whole lot to do. So I'm going to rest and recover, and come back stronger and better and faster than ever. Again, God bless you guys. You have a wonderful weekend. I'm out of here. This is Coach Powell Training Development signing off. And you again, be blessed.